When you look at TNA for the last couple of months, you know they've been giving solid shows. But have they been good, solid shows? For the most part, it has been. But when you look at the ending of this show and what happened to Chris Melendez, you wonder if they've gone too far. But before I get to that, I'm going to get to everything else in the show. Now, most of the show was actually very good. It was very high-paced in most areas and very dramatic. Let's get to the high-paced stuff first. The Dirty Heels versus the Wolves, Best of 5 series. Now, this was an extremely good match. I believe it was the match of the night. Of course, you can say anything you want about the other things that went on during the show, but as a match, it was the first and the best match of the night. I'll say this though. When you see that the ending of that match was the Wolves winning, and you see how angry that Robert Roode was, and it was Austin Aries trying to calm him down, you wonder how far they're going to try and make this best of 5 become very dramatic. Trying to show how important this is, the title, the TNA Tag Team Champions. Now in WWE, you can forget that shit. They don't really pay much attention to the tag teams at all. They got tons of people that can actually be in the tag team division, but they really don't sponsor them very well. Don't get it twisted. Tyson Kidd has been very good with Cesaro, particularly Cesaro. But to actually give us a feud to go with it, we have nothing. Now, if you're going to say in this respect that maybe with Dirty Heels, they'll do some shenanigans, or they will do something dramatic, or have some drama in it, something that will make us want to care more about the tag team champions. I think they just try and cheat eventually and turn very dirty. That's my guess. But I'm not too upset that Dirty Heels and the Wolves are working together. It's just sad they're the only ones there. Now this leads me into another match where I really believe someone tag team with somebody else should be put in the tag team division. That's Tyrus versus Mr. Anderson. And Mr. Anderson calling Tyrus a bitch pissed his ass off. Saying that if I beat you, Tyrus, I'm going after your boss and I'm going to beat him. It's not something we haven't seen. But when the match was over between him and Tyrus and EC3 was in the back, when you see the promo with Mr. Anderson and the steel cage in the back, that makes you think back around the time when Cookie was around with Robbie E, and I'll be getting to him in a minute, when she was hanging over the ring when there was a match going on. Now I'm kind of hoping they really reinforce that steel cage, because Tyrus is over 300 pounds, and I'm not knocking him because he's a heavy-set man. But if you're not careful and that chain breaks, Tyrus could die easily, and I don't want to see him die. I'm not being silly here, I'm just being honest. And since I am talking about the Robbie versus Jesse Goddard. And this, I'm surprised about. I don't really care about Jesse Goddard, but he does look like he has potential to be a good heel. I definitely don't care about Robbie E. The only time I cared was in The Amazing Race, and he was representing wrestling. So now you got two guys who originally were heels who really weren't getting very well over. They were basically comic relief. And now you're trying to throw a very, very dark spin on it, saying that even though it was a stupid way to begin, you got Jesse Goddard who just jobbed 3 times to Robbie E in the same 6 minutes. He gets so angry that he decides not only to beat up the ref, and he's going to get fined for it, but then he decides he's going to grab Robbie E, hold him over his head, throw him fully over the ring. And it wasn't like Jesse threw him in a way that he could land on his feet. No. Robbie E did a full tumble to the side and took a full hit to the ground. Now, hopefully he didn't get hurt. I don't want to see nobody hurt. And remember what I say. Anybody can get in that ring, no matter if you like him or not. You got to respect him for getting in there. Robbie E took a big bump there. That was a hard bump. It was. And then he gets destroyed by Jesse. Now, this is supposed to be a real feud with 2 basic jobbers who really have done almost nothing. They had maybe 1 or 2 moments where they actually look like they have done something, but it's never been something we've ever cared about. I'm actually interested in seeing how far they're going to go with this. Doesn't mean I'm going to enjoy it, but I want to see how far it goes. I want to see how far Jessie Goddard gets heelish. I want to see how far, no longer joking around, let's see how really angry and emotional it can get. And then this goes to Robbie E. When in doubt, heel him out. Usually it goes that way. But with Robbie E, he's never been a face. He's always been 100% heel no matter how terrible he's been. So seeing him as a face, it's going to be an interesting situation. It doesn't mean I'm going to like him as a face unless he does something that really changes my mind. In other words, he lets go of the stupid Jersey Shore shit and does something different. No more the dancing around in the ring, no more the stupid shit. If he does something serious, if he does it right, maybe he might become interesting. Doesn't mean he's going to do it. No, I don't even think he's going to go there. He'll probably still be, come on, bro! That kind of stupid shit. Because it never worked as a heel, and he's definitely going to do it as a face first. But if he does transition away from it, and he does do a decent job as a face, it'll be something new for TNA. I'm thinking of the company in general, ladies and gentlemen. Because this entire show is focused around giving TNA something entirely different. Look at the dollhouse. You see Terrence Terrell showing her assets. Seeing how she wiggles and jiggles everything all over the place. And seeing her as the boss of the... Between Marty and Jade, I kind of like Marty. Maybe it's because of Froze there. I don't know yet. Maybe she's got more of a butt than Jade does. Both of them are beautiful women. But the point is, she is their boss. And when it came to Brooke and Rebel, which is nice that she's still around, but I'm very confused why on the website, if the menagerie is left, why do you still show the icon of the menagerie? Get rid of it, TNA. They're not paying attention to the product. But in the end, they did a good match. I'm glad to see that Rebel is there, and it's another woman that we desperately needed in the Knockouts division. And then when you go away from that, and you go directly to Terrence Terrell, stripping, showing some nice boobie, showing some nice butt, and I can understand why Drew Galloway married her in the first place. She's a good-looking woman. You see that TNA is really trying to do something more adultish. You're having a woman who has power mess with another woman who's trying to take away her power, and mind you, Gail Kim is not a great actress. She doesn't really have a very good attitude in actress, but it doesn't mean she hasn't done bad in that segment. I just do believe that she just doesn't give it enough strength yet. She's just not that type of person. She kind of has a monotone voice, kind of like Randy Orton. So if you really want to get interested in this, you have to look past how her acting is a little bit. But in the end, it's still a good story. What's going to happen with Gail Kim's legitimate actual husband, who's now been included along with his daughters? How far they're willing to go with this? I want to see how far they go, because in WWE I'm not getting shit. I'm getting little kitty shit. This is more adult-like, and I actually enjoy this. Then it comes to Magnus. Look what happened with Magnus. He said to a James Storm, and now he's getting heat. Magnus is getting heat, which I knew he would get. I knew Magnus would turn to the bad guy in this, even though he's the good guy. And he said simply, come out here, James Storm, I'm going to fuck you up. And it's the Evolution that comes out and kicks his ass. But here's the thing. Seeing that the Evolution got their asses kicked by Storm himself saying, who the fuck you think you are? Do not interfere with my fucking business. Did I tell you to do my job? Did I tell you to do this? This is between me and Mickie Jane. I was very happy to see that. I was happy to see him angry for the simple reason he's trying to win Mickie Jane over. He's trying to take Mickie Jane and her son away from Magnus. I see that WWE will never go there. Not in the last 10 years have they gone somewhere that far. The only time when they ever did that in WWE was with Rey Mysterio dealing with Eddie Guerrero when he said that his kid was not his kid, it was his kid. That's roughly the last time we even had something very dark in that respect. Well, you could say that Rey Mysterio was CM Punk when he was messing with his family, when he was part of the straight edge society, but it wasn't as dark as Eddie Guerrero and Rey. In this respect, it is very, very personal because there's an infant in this situation. And this will pull people's heartstrings. I'm very happy to see this. And when it comes to something I didn't mention earlier, but I was trying to say it, Tyrus and Abyss. I was trying to put the comparisons together. Put them as a tag team. I should have said this earlier when I was dealing with the Wolves and dealing with Dirty Heels. I'm sorry I forgot to say it. But put those two together. At least they'll do something. Now, let's see if I'm forgetting anything. I want to say this about EC3. When it comes down to it, EC3 right now is one of the three best talkers in the business. I didn't say this earlier when it came to Tyrus and Anderson, but I want to say this now because when we see this match where Tyrus is going to be over the ring in that steel cage, I really believe that he may win this. And I'm hoping he does because he's so well over. Finally, if I'm forgetting anything, I'm sorry. This is Hardcore War, which looks like almost a Full Metal Mayhem, but they bring the weapons in instead of being hung on some type of steel cage. And I was wondering who the person was at first that was going to be in the Beatdown Clan. At one point, I almost thought it might have been Eli Drake because he kind of looked pretty pissed when it came to the situation where he couldn't participate. But it was Bram, which I'm actually alright with. If Bram is part of the Beatdown Clan, it actually will make sense. Let a new talent come in with Kenny King in the hopes that he gets somewhere. Let him join the Beatdown Clan because we don't have Homicide now and we don't have Samoa Joe. In the end, the person that wins is Eli, and the person who jobs is Chris Melendez. Now, I'm sure a lot of people are going to say, Chris, I don't want to see him on TV. He's too awkward in the ring. He seems too green. Yes. But I'm going to put it in disrespect to you, ladies and gentlemen. See, in disrespect. At the end of the entire show, what happened? They used Chris Melendez in an angle that is as dark, almost, it's not completely dark, but really can piss people off to the point of getting great heat. Like it was with Magnus and Storm. They took Chris's leg off and then they used it to try and promote I Quit. And that's next week. I know that seems to be going a little too far. Not everyone's going to like it. They're going to feel very awkward about it. But I'm seeing it in this respect. Right now, from what I understand, TNA is now moving to Wednesdays after June, which I can't believe they're moving that quickly. Unless they're going to get an extra hour. If they get 3 hours, ladies and gentlemen, or 2.5 hours, I would understand the move. If they don't, it's kind of stupid for them to move from Fridays to Wednesdays. It makes me think they're back at Spike. But they haven't changed their product. TNA has been giving solid shows. And they have been trying to really give something that WWE is not giving. Is it done well? No. I mean, a lot of it is still really shanky, shabby, a little messy in some cases. The lighting is still not 100% there. I really believe that bring up the lights, it would give us more. We still don't have everything set in TNA. It's still sloppy. But I will say this. This is a way better product than we ever got in Spike. And look at what we got. We actually got Gail Kim's feud. We have Magnus's feud. We have Eli, even though it is questionable. I know you're going to say you don't really care that much about Eli. But they're really trying to put an emphasis on Eli and Kurt Angle. I'm actually very interested in how far they go with this. The best of 5 series would be better if there's more emotion in it. Not just good match quality. And if they bring the X Division out even more, maybe when they get more minutes, if moving to Wednesdays will give them an extra hour and a half, or an extra hour, extra 30 minutes, which I really believe they need, this really would give us something more. Hell, even Josh Matthews and Mike TNA was not that bad. And I'm not a Mike TNA fan. I'd rather have seen Al Snow there. But it actually was pretty good work. Across the board. It still needs some work. But at least it was a good show. Do I believe they went too far? To certain points, they could have gone a little too far. But it wasn't done in bad taste, I believe. But you guys tell me below how you feel about it. I'm just seeing it for what it is. The entire product changing and being something a little more better than what we've had. So I hope you enjoyed this Zane view. Please give me a comment below. Tell me how you felt about the John Cena and the Daniel Bryan videos I did. I haven't gotten much response to it. I'm not expecting you to really like them or not, but at least tell me if that's the type of debate you want me to talk about. Something like that. Have a good day and have a good night. Peace out!